Hello my dear friends, good morning to all of you. This video lecture is regarding unit number 3 part 2. Okay. So in the last video lecture we discussed regarding the unit number 3 part 1 how the manager, how organization, how management have to face some ethical dilemmas, right? And how you have to solve this. So in this particular video lecture we learn about that how we have to solve these ethical dilemmas easily in the organization, right? So let's start it. So topic in this particular presentation and particular video lecture we discuss that how to resolve this ethical problem. If we have to face an ethical problem, then how we can solve that. Then how to resolve ethical dilemmas. First one is how to resolve an ethical problem. So the issue is involving in understanding the ethical problems can be split into the three categories. First one is a factual, second one is a conceptual, and third one is a moral. So let me give you examples regarding this ethical problem. First one is a factual, we can say problem. Factual problem means what? Factual problem means in your production sector, in your service sector, in your management sector, in your market sector, you have to face some we can say less quality product and less we can say selling. So it's a factual, means you have to face this in the real life, right? Then conceptual means what? Whatever we can say whatever the design for the production, whatever the design for your marketing strategies, in this strategy you have to face some problem, so it's a conceptual problem. I hope you learn this, I hope you understand this. Then moral means what? In your organization some employees are have to we can say this dignity regarding their ethical approaches, so it's a moral problem. And these are the three sectors: factual, conceptual, and moral. These are the problems that we have to face in our organizational level. So how we solve that? So first step is to gather the relevant facts and identify the problem. In there are the conflict of the values or the right or the professional responsibility. What are the professional responsibility? For example, there may be an issue for the self-determination, then self-determination of regarding then the well-being of family. So what type of decision I take? So first of all, gather the relevant facts. Sometimes in ethical problem we cannot get the right information, so always gather the right information and identify problem. What type of problem we have to face? Sometime in some organizational level or at individual level, we take the example that people have a only focus on the salary, only focus on the money, so there are the less chance and less concentrate on their family. So it's one type of we can say ethical problem they have to face in their life. So they have to balance their ethical or we can say professional life and personal life, right? Second one is consider the ethical issues involved. So what is the meaning and the limitation there are the typical to attach to the competent value. For example, there is a rarely in the confidential information they have to absolute secrecy. Then however typically decision about the access by the third parties to sensitive content. So should the concentrate with the clients? So consider the ethical issue. What issue we have to involve? Means if we have a problem regarding the moral, then what type of moral problem they have to face? What type of moral problem faced by the employees? You have to identify that why they have to do this type of work, why they have to reveal this information to our rival firm, why they are not satisfied or they get the we can say bribery or they have to do the corruption. So you have to find out, you have to consider the ethical issues involved in this field. Then identify which fundamental principles are affected, which type of we can say which type of fundamental principles are affected. Like there are the various types of fundamental principles. First one is objectively, means what type of object, what type of problem they have to face in their particular work. Then after confidentiality, means why they cannot follow the confidentiality. Then professional behavior, why they have to misbehave in the organization, why they have to not follow this type of work in their organization. Self interest, why they have to only focus on the self interest. Then self review. Then familiarity, sometimes some employee have to do this type of unethical practices for get the familiarism for their work. Then if you so art, so trait a compliance for the fundamental principle clearly. So whenever any employees have to join your organization, then you have to clear regarding these principles of fundamentals ethics. Then professional and the legislation regulations. Then work environment, individual, sometimes work environment is also affected to this ethical problem. Why? Take the example that if any there are the if we have to take this example so you can easily understand. There are the A company, here is a company and B company. Okay, so A company and B company, there are the two companies are considered here. There are the P and Q. P and Q, there are the two employees are working. So P employee are working in the A firm and Q employee working in the B firm or B company. A company have to provide P employees as the good working condition like the air condition, then after good sanitation system. And B employee, they we can say that B company cannot provide the right and proper manner of the working condition to the Q employee. So both are working as the same position, but P have to get the higher we can say work environment and a good work environment, good quality work environment, and Q cannot get a good environmental condition. So it's a created the ethical problem. So sometimes a Q cannot work with the good interest, and sometimes they have the quality and they have some new expertise and knowledge, but they cannot provide to their company. Why? Because work environment is also affected, right? So whenever there are this type of problem they have to face in their organizational situation. Then refer to organizational internal procedure. Sometimes some internal procedure have to guide the misguide the organization. So does your organization policies and procedure is provide the guidance to the situation? How can you accelerate to concern with the organization, and who should be involved, and what is the role and what are the stages of your organization? So you should always refer this. You refer your organizational internal policies and then after take the decision. Then consider and evaluate the alternative course of action. Organization policies, procedures and guidance and applicable the laws and regulation, universal values and principles is generally acceptable by the society. So you have to evaluate your alternatives for this, focus on this policy procedures, and then after you can easily analyze your alternatives. Sixth one is implement the course of action and the monitor its progress. Whenever you have to face this ethical issue, it may be your best interest or documents, you have to thought this the process and discussion and the decision taken. You cannot take the decision in hurry. Okay, you have to take the decision in the right manner, and then after you have to get the written records and will be useful to you and justify your course of action. So there are the mainly 6 steps is involving in the ethical problems. Then after, how to resolve ethical dilemma. In this last slide we have to discuss regarding to how to resolve ethical problem. Then after, how to resolve ethical dilemmas. So there are two main we can say approaches are considered for resolving ethical dilemma: deontological and teleological. Deontological and teleological. So first one is the deontological. Deontological is deon is a word derived from the Greek word which means duty. Deon. Here is word is deon. Okay, deon. Deon means what? Deon means duty. What is meaning of that? Duty. Duty is word, this deon word is derived from which word? Is the Greek language. From the Greek language is word derived, its meaning is duty. I hope you understand. Okay. Okay. So let's see what is the meaning of that. An ethical standard is consist with the fact that are performed by the rational and the free person. It's the deontological approach is always consist by the rationally free person who have to not do any biasness and always focus on the welfare of the people. Then this is an ineligible and right human being and the reflects of the characteristic of define for the features of our nature. So deontological approach is a simple approach, and we can say take the example regarding that they have to only focus on the rationally approach. They are the human beings is reflecting the characteristic being a feature for our nature. Then second one is a teleological. The moral character of the action is depend on the simple practical matters. So of this, they which have to action actually help or hurt the people. In the teleological, we can say ethics, they cannot have any. We can say this simple minded. They are more practical. I give you one example regarding that, so you can easily understand this teleological. What are the difference between teleological and deontological? Deontological approach is a rational approach. In this film, they are not very practical. They cannot hurt any people to get their benefit. In this approach, it's a simple approach. It's a very simple approach. They have to work according to rules and ethics and norms. Okay, so they have to main focus on their we can say rationality, welfare of the people. Okay, I hope you understand. Then teleological. So teleological ethics is always practical. Like they have to always practical in their mind. They can analyze the consequences and take the action and make the decision. Right? Yes, you see. Action and processes matter for the benefit. Then harms are right, and those they don't are wrong. Means what? Here I give you one example regarding that, and I hope you seen this web series sometime in this nowadays students and we can say various people have to seen the web series, right? So it's a one web series name is Breathe. I hope you know this Breathe. In the Breathe web series, you see that they in this particular series you see that they have to save their child. For the saving his child, they have to doing the murder for the 4 to 5 peoples. So what are the meaning of that? What is the matter in this ethic? They have to doing the rightness. They have to doing the rightness, and harm to the other is not wrong for him. Why? Because they have to focus on that if one person is survive and 5 persons are not survive, so it's unethical. So they have to focus that one person is killed and 5% are survive, it's good. But they cannot understand the right meaning of the we can say deontological. So here you take the example in the teleological we can say field is a Breathe series. From the Breathe series you can easily understand that they have to doing a good for themselves, and they cannot have any idea, any welfareness, any we can say wrongness for the other peoples. Center of this ethic is businesses offer a brief 3-step for the strategy in which both is a deontological and teleological approach coverage. First one is analyze the consequences. In the both situation, both approach, you have to analyze the consequences, analyze the situation. Second one, analyze the action. Whatever action you have to taken for that, you have to analyze that. Third one is make a decision. Then after you have to take the decision. Step in resolving ethical dilemmas. So in there are the 6 steps are considered as the ethical problem. First one is to determine whether there is a ethical issues or dilemma. If it's a conflict or value or right or professional responsibility, then you have to determine it's a professional responsibility or not. Okay. In the unit number 4, I give you one example regarding that tragedy happens in Surat. So it is ethical. It's a professional responsibility. You have to ask yourself, ask your profession. Step 1. Step 2, identify a key values, principles involved. What is the meaning and what are the limitations for attached to those competing situation. In this competing situation, competing value, identify the key value. It is matter or not. Third step, rank the value and ethical principle which in your profession judgment so are the most relevant to the issues and dilemma. What is the reason? Can you provide the priority and one competing the value for the principle over the others? You have to find out the list and you have to rank, given the rank one by one. This is the first priority, given the one rank, second rank, third rank. So sometimes some organization have given the first priority to profit, some organization have given the first priority for their human welfare. So according to the decision, according to the dilemma, you have to find that which is my priority, what is the main priority, like profit is main priority or the human welfare is main priority. According to your organization rules and regulation, you have to find that. Step 4 is a development and action plan that is a consist with the ethical priority that have been determined as a central to the dilemma. After the finding of the dilemma, you have to given the priorities and then after you have to take the decision according to your own individual ethics and organizational ethics. Implement the plan, utilize the most appropriate practice skills and the competencies. Then reflect the outcome for the ethical decision making process. After you have to take the decision, you have to implement it and you have to find your solution that if I have to do this work, then this type of things will happen for my organization. Okay, give me one example regarding that and real example to you, that nowadays you have to find that in this COVID situation, some organization have to relieve or some organization have to relieve their employees from the organization. They have to be is they have to doing ethical decision, I ask you, and you have to commit in this particular video lecture session. You have to commit that you have to, that is they have to doing a ethical, we can say ethical decision or not. And in the other side, you have to see that Ratan Tata in this COVID situation, we can say in this COVID situation, Ratan Tata take the decision that they have to provide the employees pension fund to their family because they have to survive, because there are the only a one breadwinner in their family. Why they have to take the decision? If they have to not take this type of decision, then that what happens to your family? So there are the both situation. Some organization have to relieve their employees, and some organization have, after the date of the employee, they have to provide the pension fund for their families. So which is good or which is the right, we can say, for according to your view, which is the right decision, commit in this video lecture. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Here our unit number 3 completed. If you have any query, you can ask me from the any mode of communication. Thank you.